Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Deal, Lauren Frey, Grim Clover, Internet Blood Sports, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, I've been spending a lot of time playing Fire Emblem Three Hopes on Nintendo Switch. I actually didn't really play it much this weekend, but when it came out, I put a lot of time into it and I really enjoyed it. I got about halfway through the game, and unfortunately, I got sidetracked by personal projects and stuff like that. So, like, I've only just now gotten back into it, but I have already put a lot of time into it because I am over the moon about this game. It's hard for me to believe that this was a game I considered skipping because it was a Warriors game, because I've had so many bad experiences with Warriors games in the past couple of years, right? Like, I didn't care about Samurai Warriors 5 despite being an enthusiast of Nobunaga's legacy. And I also didn't care for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which took like one of my favorite games of all time, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and shit all over it. Like just took a big steaming dump all over it, just like the angry video game nerd uh, used to do. I like Fire Emblem Warriors, right? Like I like the original Hyrule Warriors, but my view has been that like the series has been declining, right? Like people aren't happy with like the mainline Dynasty Warriors games. I wasn't happy with Samurai Warriors, so like I went into this with like absolutely very very low expectations, right? Like I kind of out of nowhere just decided to play the demo, which lasted about an hour and a half, and within that hour and a half, I found myself like enthralled enthralled by legit probably the best Warriors game I've ever played. Right? Three Hopes really does feel like it is a sequel to Three Houses rather than like a spin-off Warriors game. Like they got the writers back. It feels like Three Houses. It has the same characters. It has the same general concept of like having like different routes depending on like what you like. It feels like an expansion with like wildly different gameplay and mechanics. And in a lot of ways, it is actually better because it builds off what the original did, subverts your expectations of what you expect happens, and really does a lot to really make you feel like the political weight of what's going on. Because like the original Three Houses, as much as I loved it, it had a real problem with like endless lore dumps with no actual like character building or like it had a pacing problem essentially, um, and it took like 50 hours to get through if you were like playing a standard playthrough and like talking to everybody and trying to level them up, which is kind of pointless. I love Three Houses, right? But it was very grindy, and I personally found it tedious to get through. Like both times I played it, right? Like cool aspects, like cool lore, cool final bosses. Some of my favorite characters ever in the series, like surprisingly fleshed out surprisingly fleshed out cast and background lore. Like it was great, right? But Three Hopes like builds off of that and does a lot with it because characters that were mostly just side characters in this, get real development. They get real focus. They get real moments to shine to establish themselves, and we get different matchups than we got in the original game, which was typically basically like the Kingdom of Fargus versus like the Empire. This one like goes more into like the Alliance and has them like doing things and being involved, like doing their own thing. Like the situation is different, right? And people's actions are different. And one of the things I really loved about Three Hopes is that Three Houses is that like it really demonstrated how morally gray everything is as the years went on, though, like people kind of settled on this narrative that like the empire is bad and the kingdom is good, and like the church is just misunderstood, and the alliance are just like shit posting redditors who are just like vibing or whatever. No, like Three Hopes, like really gave a lot of nuance to the situation and really made like the empire come off as a lot more sympathetic than they did initially. They really they made the alliance kind of they kind of emphasize more that the alliances are more backstabbers, which was what they were supposed to be initially. Uh, like they took a lot of the ideas and like really. really expanded on them in this game and really made them interesting and like feel fresh, right? Like the conflict is fundamentally the same, but because of the way things play out with different characters and all that, like it feels almost as if it's like an alternate continuity, but it's so well made. It really makes me it really makes me feel a lot more optimism about the future of like root systems in Fire Emblem because like that's one of the things I said about Three Houses is that like it felt like they couldn't really make three good roots. They settled on like four mediocre ones, right? Uh, that had like the same starting point that like split off like in the end game. It was kind split off in the second half. Like it was just kind of tedious, especially on like replay to go through the same motions over and over and over again to get to like different content. I didn't really enjoy that at all. But like Three Hopes seems to be you know remedy that problem and really showcases like the strength of being able to like choose multiple paths in a Fire Emblem game. This might be the best route system we've ever had in that sense because you get to choose who you want to be with from the start, and like they all get their original campaigns. They all get their focus. They all like have such things to do. I could have told you immediately when I played Three Houses that I wasn't going to play all the routes. Like I said I was going to play three, like the church, Golden Deer, and then like the Blue Lions. I think it's like wrong to support the Black Eagles, considering to go through Scarlet Blaze, Crimson Flower, because of how Edelgard like acts. You know how she handles like that situation. Like she kind of goes off the deep end with like getting your dad killed. That's like that was fucking stupid. Like a lot of the things she does in that game is stupid, and which kind of sucks because she's probably one of my favorite characters ever at this point. My number one waifu in all of fiction. I love Edelgard, but she's so fucking stupid. Like she's so dumb. Like what a you would have to like wrangle her in if you were like actually gonna try and like pull her. Like damn. And I'm not even sure if it's possible. She's so fucking insane, but that's kind of what makes it appealing. I just but but yeah, the game Three Hopes was surprisingly good, right? With stellar gameplay, a wide range of characters, a surprisingly versatile roster. All of them have crazy abilities. Like there's so much to be gained playing this game. Like I legit think I am gonna go through like every single route and experience everything this game has to offer. It's so they've done so much to keep me invested in this world. I honestly want to see more. Honestly, like I really wonder if we're gonna get like a straight up like Three Houses 2 at this point, um, which would be which would be wonderful. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but that would be that would be something. Again, I'm curious what the future of Fire Emblem is gonna be at this point, because I think there is a lot of room for like high quality spin-off titles like this. Right? Like I would love to play something like an action game where you play as Ike, for example. Like I've always wanted that. Like I would love for this franchise to like tackle new genres and tackle new ideas, um, while still retaining like its soul, right, of being like a fantasy strategy RPG series. Like I would love that. But it seems right now we're kind of relegated to Warriors games, but those Warriors games are getting insanely good, right? The best there are right now, and I don't think anyone is really giving them enough credit for that.